One of the competitors in the soca semi is scheduled for Friday afternoon, just about 5:30 over at the Cultural Center. We're looking forward to seeing who would be the 10 in each subgenre selected to go on to the finals. Tough competition, very tight indeed. Sunita, the music, you also involved. Export St. Lucia, you decided a year or two ago to get involved. The most exportable song was the prize you allocated last year. How has that gone? What is your thrust going forward with that aspect?
Thanks, Eddie. And the most exportable song was the receipt of it. The reception of it from the artist was really great last year. Everybody wanted the most exportable song award. That was won by Imran Nudi. And we are also, one of the things we are looking for is, we know our soca music is great. We know our Denry segment is a great music and great songs, and we want the rest of the world to know about St. Lucian music. And Export St. Lucia has been investing some money in the past few years in terms of doing the business of music training for our artists. We're looking a little more this year to do some stage performance training for them. But in terms of the most exportable song, we've decided to award 3 prizes this year. So in addition to the first prize, we will also have the first and second, third prize winners. But also in addition to that, we will be giving the most exportable song winner a video, a professional video, which will be developed by our people domestically. And Teddy, thank you for that advice from both you and Poppy in terms of how we can improve the award for the most exportable song. So that's what people can look forward to this year in terms of the most exportable song award. But we have also been collaborating with the St. Lucia Tourism Authority over the years and taking our artists to different carnivals and supporting them there. So our artists, like I said, will be at Expo Japan, on the stage there in Japan, but also at Expo Serbia. So we also looking forward to that kind of involvement. We're hoping that the most exportable song will encourage people to look at the criteria and ensure that the songs are good domestically, but it's also something that you can export and that can be consumed internationally.
Well, tell us exactly, you said you expanded it, how many people that you, in fact, looking to reward?
We're looking to reward 3 people this year. So last time we gave 1 award, that was a sum of $5,000. We're actually increasing the sum of money that will be given to our most exportable song winner, but we're also giving some financial support to the second and third place winners themselves.
Well, that's commendable, and as you say, the 2 objectives: one, widening the pool, so you're in fact recognizing the body of work in St. Lucia, not just one person, and also to ensure that there's work in improving the product and its exportability as you go forward. The whole product, the whole creative product, the whole music product you're working on. I know you've done, I always think of your work with the CMOS farmers. There's really been exemplary. I always use it as a good reference as to how you were developing a product, making it more exportable. And so what other aspect of this industry would you be working on acknowledging?
Well, definitely. Forward? I think when we work on an export product, we have to work along the entire value chain. So just like you have a product or a service, you have who is in the background has to be rewarded. And so I'm really hoping the government of St. Lucia can give us some additional funding next year for us to reward our writers. So who's the best? The writers, the producers. I think there are so many opportunities in terms of what our young people are engaged in and getting them involved in that creative process, and they need to be rewarded for that. And so we'll be looking at it holistically, not only the artists you see at the front, but there's definitely a lot of work happening in the background, and these people need to be rewarded also. Yeah.
Reminding everyone, we're wrapping up with Sunita, who is here as the CEO of Export St. Lucia. We'll be speaking to Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire in just a bit on the carnival as we forward, and that's one aspect I think the ministry has, and they've introduced a prize to reward the minister and the parent ministry for Carnival for the writers. They get an allocation, and that was very welcome. For years they went unrecognized in a formal way, had to depend on the mercy or cooperation of the artists to give them a slice of their winnings, but there was no separate recognition. The writers have really welcomed that. So we're going in a while. Sunita, your final words as you remind persons. So the voting and the process for the most exportable, how is that done?
Okay, so we'll be following a similar one. Our judges from the CPMC will be involved, but we'll also get the St. Lucian Public's opinion. So there'll be a voting platform that we will put online. During the season, we'll be monitoring, but also after. And that was an important thing for us. How much exposure did that song get in the international carnivals after? And so we're looking at all of those as some of the criteria for it. Teddy, I just want to thank you for the opportunity for being here today. I want to encourage the general St. Lucian public to come out and support Export the Runway. You have so far, to be honest, I think we have less than 20 tickets left at the sale at the William Peter Boulevard location. Although the tickets have sold out. So by the time I leave here, they may all be gone.
You just heard you, yeah.
Yes.
At the sale, either branch?
No, right now there are only tickets left at the William Peter Boulevard branch.
At that venue. And so we want to thank Sunita Daniel as I know she and Glenfield have a lot to do, Glenfield?
Yes, quite a lot.
A lot to do to work, and we'll be there. Somebody's asking whether you have for the best outfit in the audience. You have the most fashionable person.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah. We could look at that. No problem.
Generally, and also maybe to reward who wore local design best, you know?
Right. So these are things we can look at for sure.
Yeah, but give them a token this year.
Yes, definitely.
A surprise.
Yeah, definitely.
And tell them that surprise more. The people seem to be connecting and aware who
so
it's no longer a surprise, but you're special.
It's not a surprise, but our special guest is Naya Kim. And if you go on her...
this is the Queen of Dark.
The Queen of Dark. Yes, and so she's really a gorgeous model, international model, and we're looking forward to her gracing our runway this year.
Thanks, Sunita. Thanks a lot as we continue to push all aspects of the product, the industry, and as we see, right now we're not at the highest peak as far as exporting our soca and calypso music. We've done better before in the last decade. We're at a slight lull now, so we need to push. The music is of great quality. There's no reason why we're not penetrating. We're not in featuring and being hired and contracted. Going to diaspora is one thing, but to be hired by independent promoters in Miami, in the Mecca, Trinidad and Tobago, we really need to work at that. And also a point being made that, well, Minister is here to, I think that view has been shared in forums with him and by him, that we need to get in physically in the space too. So
definitely.
There's a value to being physically in Trinidad and Tobago, your Nudis, your Ezras, and so, because the networking is powerful. That's where you speak to a manager, a producer, you know, and in fact a promoter down the line. Thanks for your good work, Sunita. Keep doing it. Keep bringing the music more into the fore, and see you. We're looking forward to your outfit. They hear you.
Oh, definitely. I always wear local. Yeah. I always wear local designers. So,
well, we have as we say good morning to Iowa again. Iowa, you listening to us? Boy, you rest yourself and come back soon. The great Iowa. So in the chair is Maureen. You talk about outfits, you talk about Maureen, you know?
Oh my goodness. So actually Maureen will be one of our MCs and will be on the red carpet on Saturday night. So Maureen will probably be having 10 outfit changes.
But there's definitely some local designers in there.
The great Maureen, fashionista herself. Thank you, Sunita. We're getting ready for persons tuning to Dr. Ernest Hilaire, who is our next guest. We have Juiceman Calypsonian, we have MNR budding soca artist, we have Ezra the Fun Machine, lots more on Vaval Central as we get ready to welcome Dr. Ernest Hilaire. TC Brown is making waves this year. He was very outstanding in the qualifiers at the quarterfinals. TC Brown. We're going to TC Brown, and Maureen, you have one lineup for TC Brown. He is one of the semi-finalists on Sunday, another big event on Sunday. Lots of work for you, Maureen. Friday and Sunday.
My choice. Hey, don't be afraid to bounce, you know. General elections is a clash of party leaders whose main intention is to control the public coffers. Our choice is clear on election day. It's Philip Jepier versus Alan Chasney. Depuis Pierre-Antoine, il fait assis-ouais, il fait au-chipé, je ne sais pas malé. The economy, he revitalized employment and GDP, wages and pensions rise. Now no government is beyond rebuke, but when I take a comprehensive look, without favor or fear, I declare my choice is clear. I'm sticking with Mr. Pierre, cause Alan is no John Compton. He's was just a rich man's son. Flambeau put in charge because he cop a large. They come from roots. Is that where the government boots? And this teacher mommy taught him to serve with humility. I ain't trying to divide, I ain't taking side, but I'm not afraid to call a spade a spade. My choice is clear.
My choice.
Clear, clear, clear.
My choice.
My choice is clear. I'm sticking with Mr. Pierre. Our Allen.
Our
Okaya Lapen.
Lapen.
No surrender, no reverse. We put in people first. My choice is clear.
My choice.
Clear, clear, clear.
My choice.
My choice is clear.
Singing to Mr. Pierre.
I can hear you. My choice. You with me? Whether you're good, bad or ugly, we all need food and water when hungry and thirsty. And when we sick, we crave proper health care. Whether we stick with chastity up here, once we importing most of what we consuming, we supporting rising cost of living. It's not fair. After all the debts he cleared, there should be blame for the state of healthcare. Some thought CIP Roro would rile us up, but that was just a storm in a teacup. Keep working, Mr. Pierre, and stand firm. Your performance will earn you a second too. Where is the dolphin park? Where is the racetrack? All the pipe dreams and elusive schemes. Carefree of ganja, minimum wage deliver, and we looking good to deliver St. Jude. I ain't trying to divide, I ain't taking side, but I'm not afraid to call a spade a spade. My choice is clear.
My choice.
Clear, clear, clear.
My choice.
My choice is clear. I'm sticking with Mr. Pierre. Our Allen.
Our
Okaya Lapen.
Lapen.
No surrender, no reverse. We put in people first. My choice is clear.
My choice.
Clear, clear, clear.
My choice.
My choice is clear. I'm sticking with Mr.
Pierre.
TC Brown! What y'all say?
Yeah. That's your choice, Maureen?
My choice indeed.
Just a note before we go to Minister of Culture, Ernest Hiller, the Carnival Planning and Management Committee, CPMC. They are asking all interested persons who want to become interested in becoming a judge for the Junior Parade on Sunday, July 13th, and the National Parade of Bands. If you want to be involved in assessing bands on the criteria and providing fair and unbiased coverage, indicate your interest by emailing the admin assistant at carnivalstlucia.com, admin assistant at carnivalstlucia.com. Deadline for submissions is 12 noon on Monday, this coming Monday. So if you're interested in becoming a judge for the Parade of Bands or Junior Carnival Parade, admin assistant at carnivalstlucia.com. That is the call for judges, some new judges for the parade, the two parades, Junior and Senior National Parade. Of course, I always advise the different recruiters, both for Calypso, the music, and indeed the bands, that when the call is very good to mobilize persons interested, but always give them a little crash course, just a little basic course to understand that they have the tenets, the basic concepts and notions. I just think the basic entry, interested, yes, but your enthusiasm and determination does make you a good judge, that you at least understand where this thing is going, Calypso and or judging. So good move by the CPMC, but advising them and the CBA to have a little crash course even on the morning, just to ascertain that you know what this thing is all about generally. Ernest Hiller is the man in the chair. The carnival so far, you having fun?
Well, not as much as I did last year, but I'm sure it's going to pick up once we have this official visit of the Nigerian president, and I think once that's out of the way, I can fully indulge myself.
Yeah, Yeah, there are new Calypsonians just stick. There's a new song already written about that called The President. That's all. The President.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't heard it yet. I'd love to hear a piece of that.
I'm just teasing, but I'm saying Calypsonians sometimes
saying,
to write a song, The President, and not only about that president, maybe President.
Yeah.
I like that when they quick wit, they adjust the line.
And that's the talent, and it is supposed to be an art form. Of course, best exemplified in extempo, where you give a man a topic and he can just sing about it. It's for the lyricists, and you really have to admire persons who can perform and are also so quick on their feet to just craft some, a song immediately.
Yeah. And we often see that in this case, for example, it's very tight. The competition in the semi-finals, very open, very tight. So your delivery certainly and use of stage and so make a difference, but also your ability to add fresh lines and something different. Because, as I said, especially if your song leans towards humor and wit, unless you repeat lines, you're like a comedian telling the same joke every night. It does fall very flat on you. And we have had examples. We discussed that last time you were here. Invader's song about the speaker, move the speaker in the house. Got about 13 encores in the tent when he started. When he got to the park, it was very flat. By then, it had gotten very flat. It happens, songs that start well. The reverse has happened, songs that start.
And you have songs that grow on you as a series, as the time goes.
It's for the writer and the strategist to decide which one. Ernest Hilaire, you are the man ultimately in charge of Carnival. The hours on the road, people have been talking about it, especially the Vincy's, saying that they go until midnight and so on, provoking more interest. Where we at with extending the hours? We've been relatively incident-free in the last few years and working with the police on a compromise.
Well, we are discussing it right now. We have put forward our requests on the table, both privately and publicly. We know the situation we were in a few years ago. I think we've kind of come out of this. We've seen tremendous amount of work by the police to ensure citizen safety. And, we said to them, look, what has happened, especially last year, where they virtually allowed it to go up to 7 o'clock, and even the second day, the Tuesday, beyond 7 o'clock. Right. And we're saying to them, we're really not so much interested in a specific time per se. What we want is to allow the band to complete the route. Right. So Mega J to Mega J.
In the true sense.
In the true sense of it. So yes, you as the police can say to the marshals to pull up the bands if you realize they're staggering a bit too much. But we said to them, look, when you stop, say for example, you stop a band by Bizet, you just have hundreds of persons just walking towards Mega J, just dispersing on both sides of the road, which itself becomes a hazard, as against when the music is playing and everyone is in line following the band. So we've been saying to them, look, you have full authority if there's an incident to stop the music and ask the crowd to disperse. But until then, let the bands play until they reach Mega J. It might be 6:30, it might be 7, it might be 7:30. And if you realize it's getting too late, you encourage the marshals to pull up the bands, so it will reach there faster. So that's the kind of discussion we'll have with them. We're really not looking to compete with St. Vincent or any other island. They have their own vibe, we have our own vibe. I mean, you go to, say, St. Vincent, you go wrong in circles. So you
on
just keep on a small route. And it's very easy to manage it. Our route is a scenic, enduring route. It really takes you along a journey and back up. So we have a different kind of route and things. So we want to do something which suits our own circumstances and to work with all the stakeholders, including the police, to make sure it's an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. I want to get back a little later on that point you made about we have our thing and appreciate it. I find St. Lucians tend to just praise and overvalidate anything from overseas. For example, the Creole Festival. They go on and they start with Dominica Carnival. I respect our neighbors. I'm saying really now you start with Dominica as a comparison. I mean, Dominica, a friend of mine told me Dominica have 1.5 bands, but I won't go that far. But be careful now. There's everything. The Creole Festival, Dominica has this and that. But our jazz festival is the best festival in the as a festival. Also, in Creole we have something special going in the communities and so on. Something appreciate the features we have. I find we overpraise anything foreign, like what boy Dominica. We get back to that.
But no, it's an important point. But social media does that sometimes, and people always like to do that. And I've had reason to say to them many times over exactly what you're saying. People tell me about why we do go until daybreak as a daybreak, Dominica daybreak. I say that's not our brand. No, that's not our experience. When you come to St. Lucia, you probably get a more charming, sophisticated kind of vibe. We're not loud and brash, and then you go on until 6 o'clock in the morning. That's not not what we have. We would rather you go to bed at 2, wake up at 7, get a breakfast, go down in the Sulphur Springs, go some. We have a different vibe, and that's what differentiates us.
No, that point I really wanted. I get annoyed with my friends over. They say it's that Dominica Carnival. Now come on, the kind of carnival you have, they really come and talk about Dominica. You're so wow, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to be careful that we have our features. As you said, we have several venues. You go to a Dominica or St. Kitts, one venue, one stadium for the whole festival.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a St. Lucian. I do not take for granted. You have the point version now in Miku. You are that,
and you'll see how that place will look next year, God willing.
But diversity is there. But the powerful Mindo Philip Park, you get goosebumps. But you go to Pigeon Island, then Soufre under the Pitons. I mean, all with top class entertainment. So careful now when you come and over brag and start comparing other islands. Anyway, but I was going, as you said, you mentioned interestingly the bands going up the road. And wanting them to finish. That's a part of the big attraction. Not Mega G to Mega G. Our route is all foreigners rave over the route, and we too appreciate it. But in the bands going back up, we're talking about the bands. The question is raised more and more about the spontaneous, non-costume reveler. The old days of Carnival, both Juve, which we might touch on in just a while, was spontaneous, organic, and also the jump up. You took your last jump up, hold your girlfriend and take a jump for 2-3 hours. That is what the concern is about. Where do you see that going? What can be done about that? Some suggesting having a truck for the public. Your take on that, on the public, the non-costume reveler who can't afford a part in the mass.
Well, about 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting of all stakeholders to really see where we are, what challenges we need to overcome as we prepare for the final stretch. And that did come up. And it's something we're going to talk about some more. I personally, at this point, I don't think the truck on the road would work.
Okay.
Individuals want to be where the vibe is, and if a big banner just for fun have all the costume girls and whatnot, and that's where vibe is, that's where they want to go. They don't want to go behind just a truck of music. It's not just about that. It's not just about following music. You want to be part of an experience. And sometimes, guys would have their girlfriends in the bands, or girls have their boyfriends in the bands, so they want to be with them. So it's not just about following any banner of music. However, though, I think the time is really approaching where we must have a still ban on the road. And we explored it last year.
Tamara Gibson says it's happening this year.
I didn't want to take it because until all the arrangements are in place.
That is the intention.
The intention. Last year we wanted to do it, and this year we're going to try to get it done, where those who want pan music on the road, which is a tradition in itself.
Right.
Because remember, you growing up pushing the silpan through the streets of Castries, and who follows it. So that's a little different. But I think what we want to approximate is to say to St. Lucians to conduct yourself in a manner, safe enjoyment, responsible enjoyment, where at a certain point the bands can just allow persons to come. So if the bands decide, look, from VG Roundabout, persons can join the bands. The costume individuals who want to leave can leave, walk up the road on their own, whatever, and just allow the music to play. But we can encourage that if the behavior on the road is such. You don't want people harassing people, nobody trying to, making young ladies feel uncomfortable. And if somebody doesn't want to take a wine with you, respect that.
Harassing people,
So we need to promote that kind of thinking where the bands will feel, okay, it's okay to allow, non-costume individuals to just join the band. But again, it's a work in progress.
Yeah. So I hear you clearly. You're seeing a scenario where behind each band, loud band, just for fun, is the 4 and 5 trucks that people peacefully jump behind. And just follow the band up to the mega.
Precisely.
The steel band you mentioned, people are very excited about the return of steel band, the CPMC. Tamara says that it's happening this year. They're working actively. One little joke about that, the band leaders have conceded that over the years, boy, this bikini and beats very attractive. The fellas start playing well, but after a while, when they're girlfriends in the band, they think they've abandoned in the end.
Exactly.
I guess that's why you're cautious about promising it, and the discipline of sticking to playing that the old band used to do it for the whole day.
Precisely.
But the youngsters, restless there after an hour and a half, they figure they've made the point and they want to leave. They want the band, but that being worked on. That aspect is one, but also the much talked about lack of spectacle, particularly on the Tuesday. You have commented on that in other fora. How are we balancing that to have some creativity and spectacle on the road? The revelers, yes, we've seen the carnival change from one of portrayal and depiction of the years. The big owners are reveling now with expression and independence. For the spectator, the proverbial grandmother from Pavie with her 3 children will come down. how are we getting something for them to see on the road?
Now, it's quite interesting you raise that because, this growing trend of having Tuesday wear.
Tuesday wear,
where you're saying the spectacle is gone on the Tuesday. I was firmly against it, to be honest with you.
Against going the
Tuesday wear direction. Right. I wanted to keep the spectacle for both days.
Right.
And last year, I was on a platform, and I saw Just for Fun coming around the corner by the VG playing field. And to see 1,000 orange hats and the tops they had just bouncing on the road coming down, it was a different kind of spectacle.
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. And then it kind of tempered my view. I'm still not wholly sold on it yet. But what it said to me then is that you can create a different kind of spectacle. Because if the revelers are now saying, you know what?
So uniformity then?
Yeah, the uniformity and the choice of color and the choice of, of really creating that spectacle. So if revelers are saying, look, we don't want to carry a costume 2 days anymore, and they're having experiences in other countries, and they prefer that experience where they don't have to have a costume for 2 days. And then, like I said, if they can create a Tuesday spectacle, different, and it's not a repetition of the Monday spectacle, because let me tell you, it was really powerful watching, 1,000 orange hats bouncing on the road.
Zuvu had a pink too. Zuvu also had a pink.
No, I think Zuvu was probably black, no?
Pink.
They had pink as well.
Zuvu had the pink,
So it was probably Zuvu. But one of them. But the point is,
the orange was
the orange.
Raul captured a powerful photo.
He had a powerful photo of it. So for me, it was a different kind of spectacle. And again, it's evolving. And it's good for us to always have those discussions because as it evolves, we must manage it, the evolution, to make sure we still keep substance. Like I said, I was totally against it. After last year, it kind of tempered me a bit. I will look again this year and see how it shows on the road, what the bands do. Some are not fully onto that yet. So again, it's still evolving. We might have a mixture of different Tuesday expressions. But, we also a brand.
Yeah.
And,
interesting as you say that the point must be made that up until recently, we were the only carnival offering the same fare on 2 days.
Yeah.
Every carnival has, Barbados 1 day out of that. Yeah. But all the other countries had casual wear on either Monday or Tuesday and then full wear. The likes of Grenada, St. Vincent, they really alternate. The Trinidad and Tobago, the one day they have the Monday wear where they casual. And interestingly, they come with a full costume on the second day.
On the second
but
day.
we were the only ones offering the costume on both days. The younger generation not having that. They figure they're exposed, they want to vary it. But that is something to look at. Now, we mentioned that for the costume paid revelers, the members of the bands, for the wider parade, to balance it, as they say, the revelers, they may follow your advice and go to uniform, but they wearing their sexy bodysuits on that second day. Any intention, we heard CPMC hint at it, for having more spectacle, creating a la French revelers, adding stilt walkers, drummers, they have the pan. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah. One idea I had always was to line up the king and queen of the bands. You have about 22 costumes taking part. Just imagine them, they lined up. In convoy along that way. That alone will be spectacular. We've never quite done it to have them because they compete on the Monday before the judges, but on the second day they can in fact in parade 22 big costumes going down that waterfront. Well, just one idea.
Yeah, no, but you're right, and I have a variation of it which I think we should also put on the table because those same costumes are the king and queen or the band costumes. So why do they have to be judged also on a Monday? If you think about it,
for the individual of the year.
Yeah, but why? What does that mean? And I've asked them, tell me what's individual of the year. You understand? Why don't they be part of a parade?
Right.
And it's something you've raised in the past. And I've asked that question. Why don't we use those costumes and have a parade of the costumes separate from this individual of the year? Yeah. But individual of the year and the person who wins it is more money for them.
Right.
So it has that kind of interest that's been perpetuated. But it can be better for the parade if we have all those costumes line up and just have a convoy parade of the costumes that have already taken part in competition, has already been judged.
On the night, night of King and Queen.
Exactly. But again, we have to put it on the table and discuss it.
Yeah, interesting. And nothing precludes them being judged as they go, if you must have the prize, as they go in the convoy.
Of course. Even that, they can still be judged then. Yeah. And but some people, the more costumes you have is the longer, more time you get on stage. And small bands end up having spend the most time on stage, and can you imagine a smaller band will have more time on stage than a band with 1,300 revelers.
Right.
For me, that's not even logical, but that's another issue that they have to resolve.
Something that the big costumes enhance the presentation visually on the secondly, on when they go before the judges, that is. So
that's
interesting.
but
But obviously things to be discussed as we tweak and shape our carnival.
But let me just also add something quickly. You mentioned about the French bands, whatnot. So this year we'll have a huge increase.
Almost 600, I'm told.
Coming in. But we also speaking to some of the local folk bands to see how they too can be part of it. So don't be surprised if you see a couple of La Rose groups actually coming down the road and joining the parade and adding to it. And I know for some of you have been more fire, right? All those people. And so the Go movement is something that you've been promoting for years to be part of it. So make it street theater.
Right, a lot.
In addition to...
You can, if you work it well, have 2.5 hours of real spectacle before the song.
No, it starts from Northwest,
and come down.
And come down, or even VG playing field, they assemble there and move from there.
Where the French start. You can have 2.5 hours of spectacle. So then that grandmother from Pave has a reason to come out with her 2 kids. She doesn't need to block their eyes for at least for 3 hours, And so,
but also
when the revelers do the thing after that, you've had your full.
Precisely.
You've had enough spectacle.
But also to a lot of people watching it live on TV now and on Facebook. So some people do not even feel there's a need to leave their home because we now in a modern day society, and there is live on TV. And some people tell you, and it's something you and I would speak about. People like us like to go and watch cricket live and see it ball by ball live. There are people that they rather watch cricket on TV. They see replays, they close up, and they see things you never see when you live. And people are starting to, with a good production, online and otherwise, people are telling you they enjoy that more than live.
But I'm sure you've watched the replay of a Calypso final to come on. The detail you see on the coverage of the close-up cameras.
Yeah, you hear every word
and
of
the
the Calypso.
Everything and there are people I tease on the program with Iowa about my friends who have strong religious fervor, and they watch Calypso finals every minute. They won't come to the physical venue, but they watch to the people there. Ernest Hilaire, you are in charge of culture and tourism, the mix. You're straddling the two and that delicate balance. We are hearing that a band like Zuvo is approaching now 2,000 revelers in the band. 70%, most of the big bands, and averaging 70% foreign participation. Your concern, your thrust to balancing that, surely for the touristic effort and thrust is fantastic, and the whole country welcomes that. We are the hub, we are the happening carnival. But for local participation, your take, your view on that we have, and overwhelmingly the ratio tilted towards the foreign participation in the bands, for example.
Teddy, right now I'm going through a lot of reflection, and let me just throw a few things at you. One of the pillars is cultural preservation for Carnival, which means we are mandated to constantly find ways to preserve the cultural heritage of Carnival, and to find ways to really introduce those elements. So you spoke about street theater, that 2.5 hours before. We need to work on that consciously. So we need to make sure that La Rose groups, the French groups, the Moko Jumbi, the Stilt Walkers, all those people are part of our Carnival parade to really preserve that aspect of it. Bringing back the Silpan on the road is part of it. So there is participation of a certain demographic in that space. And the lecture was delivered by Dr. Okla was really brilliant. She said, the road is big enough for how many different sections? Stay in your section. Find your section, stay in your section. And she was really, really right. So we need to make sure all those elements stay. So yes, we have the influx of foreigners, visitors, coming into our country because they like the vibe, they like St. Lucia's experience. We must create space for them too. There's also the economic, advantage of doing so. But you also spoke about participation, and it's something that has been on my mind, and I've spoken to a few individuals about it. I've asked FRC, and Mbut has sent me a research proposal for it because I told him I wanted research. And let me tell you what has happened, and you know that very well because you're responsible for it. The community carnivals is about participation too. For persons who cannot afford $1,200 costume. But one of the things I noticed, and in pushing the CPMC to get all the community carnivals to be held before the national parade, they've been again slow in it. They still insist on the 1st of August, the 2nd of August, the 3rd of August, after the main carnival. And I said to Tammy, you know what? There's a bigger story behind this. There are two carnival narratives in this country. There's one that's dominant. All everybody talks about. When you ask about the best massmen of St. Lucia, it's only Castries and the North they talk about. The best bands, Miss Booty, Sikra, only the North. Who's the best massman from Soufrière and Vieux-Fort and Dennery? You don't hear that. You never hear that. So our dominant narrative about Carnival is a real northern, kind of urban-centric, related to the Catholic religion, pre-Lenten, if the infusion of the creativity in costume. But they had a grassroots people's carnival that took place in the rural communities that nobody has really documented, and find out who are the purveyors of that carnival. And the other significant thing for me is why most of them are August 1st Emancipation Day. And whether we don't have a celebration, a carnival, that was rooted around emancipation, the celebration of emancipation.
That's what Labrie arguing this day.
Exactly. Now, that's where it really hit me. Is when Tamara said to me, Larry insisted him as the 1st of August. I called them and I said, but why are you all doing that? And he said, no. Historically, the date has been that August 1st. And it started dawning on me, but why all the rural carnivals August 1st? So we have to do some research to find out. Miko as well, Grozile. When Hurricane Allen struck, there was carnival in Vieux-Fort, So why historically all the rural carnivals in the communities are August 1st around that time, but in Castries, the North, we had a pre-Lenten carnival, and we've made that the dominant narrative. So we must push the community carnivals, one, for participation and preserving its historical significance. So we need to discover it. So we need to do the research, and we need to find out about that. So participation is really important for us, and it's important for us because it's the greatest pathway to cultural preservation.
Yeah. Interesting point someone made, and it never dawned on me. Castries, the greatest population belt, Castries. But for the affordable kind of mass happens in the communities. That he says we are assuming national carnival is Castries' carnival. But he's saying that's where the big population is, but there isn't a Castries carnival. So the little bands from Monday Dawn and so a little martial band could have the little carnival because we just assume the national carnival is not Castries' own. That's a big high price mass. So for participation to a little kind of lead up Castries carnival, in a sense, it never dawned on me, but it's a fact that they don't have their community carnival where they could take part and more affordable, like Soufrière and Dennery.
But look at Cicera.
Right.
At Cicera pageant, we honored the last queen. They took part in the 1961 National King and Queens competition in St. Lucia. The queen, Miss Wallace, and Joyce Brown was a princess.
Right, at that time.
That's 1961. Think about that. They were sponsored by Cowan Gate. Remember Cowan Gate from Lafayette? No, they were sponsored. So just those things we need to research them and record them, and really have a more holistic understanding of our carnival. So, but you also spoke about affordability, even in the northern part. There are 13 bands that are not the party bands, and the prices are supposed to be affordable. So the average person who cannot afford a big Zuva costume or just for fun or fusion can go to those bands. But they too, the challenge they face is the challenge of sexiness. When I say sexiness, not in a sexual sense. Glamour. Okay, the glamour and the glitz. You have a generation coming up that wants glamour and glitz. So the challenge is on those traditional bands to find designs and costuming that bridges both. Because otherwise the 19-year-old, 20-year-old will go to the glamour and glitz that they get, and they'll find the money. That's the point. They will find the money. Maureen Julian will tell her if they care for the costume, pay for it for them, And saying, a father told me, he gives his daughter $500 every month from January so they have enough money to pay their costume, because that's the generation. So all those issues we need to discuss. But I think the important thing for us is for us to, and you and I had that discussion. When I first really got involved at a band level, I remember having that discussion with you. I don't know if you remember that many, many years ago about Carnival, about Journée Creole, and how to make the Carnival even bigger. That's the time we were reforming to move to Red International, whatnot. You have to find something that can appeal to a generation. and it constantly evolves.
Yeah. You're right about, but the power of social media is really, Barry George is a good example, who tries to have more traditional mass, tries to do portrayals, a younger kind of secret effort, hasn't quite spawned yet and mushroomed. And he made the point to me that, boy, you'll ask us to play the traditional mass and so on. I am trying with my demographic, I have mature people and younger, but the young girls are not interested. They will be laughed at if they go in traditional mass. They think they want the glam and so the point that if they cannot afford the Zuvo and Legends costume and fusion, they will not jump us. The friends, they will not allow their friends to see them in a little $400 costume in Barry George band. That's not where it's at.
Exactly.
The Instagram page they must be on, and the social media propels them in that direction.
It's the same thing. You know how many individuals just want their costumes, they can take their pictures to post,
that point,
and then take it out. And even going on the Bamba Mall, people speak about, some people want to go there just to get the picture so they can post it. Yeah. You know, it's not really to show how they can wine more than everybody else.
Yeah, we explained on the thing that the young ladies now borrow the backpacks. They buy it collectively, so it costs $1,000 more.
Yeah.
3 or 4 of them will pay for it. They take the pictures and whoever can, because they don't want it on the road anyway. They don't want it on the road. So just to get a picture for social media is very important.
So you see, how do we support a Barry George, for example? You know, and for me, it's not so much a cost, but the vibe that is created around the costume that they have. You understand?
He's trying to save his masquerade mask. I see the hybrid of sexy but playing the traditional aspect.
Precisely.
He's really trying to balance it. But Emma Charles, your comrade, raised a feature about exclusivity, too much exclusivity in the mass, as he said. The disintegration, as he would use.
Yeah.
VIP and VVIP and just...
I heard him, but I'm sure.
Your take, because he's saying we're going too far in the separation.
But, you know, coming from a band that really was pushing that hard, and it got to the point where people said, we only took people of a certain shape and size to be in our VVIP.
You referring to Red and himself?
Yeah. And saying, I can understand why the bands are going in that direction. There are people that will pay premium for a premium experience. Now, is a business also for you. So if I can sell 60 costumes, the biggest, brightest, most glamorous, and in their thing, they get the best drinks on the road. They get their food delivered to them by servers on the road. Their cold towels every hour. All those things as part of a VVIP experience. I would do it, and they would pay $2,000 for that kind of experience. Why shouldn't I do it? You know.
I guess it's considered that becoming too pervasive in the mass at all levels.
But that's what the market is demanding. There's a demographic in the market that's saying they want that kind of experience on the road,
which is kind of opposed to what the quintessence of carnival is supposed to be at the origin, the melting pot where we all won for 2 days, that we all won.
Well, we won in the physical space, but people are going to pay for it. And another element that has not really developed in St. Lucia is the use of floats. And we saw over the last 2 years a couple instances of floats on the road. And this is something we will see happening over the next few years in St. Lucia. Mark my words. There'll be influencers and other celebrities coming to St. Lucia now, and they'll say, look, I can't do Mega J to Mega J, but I need to have a float that I can just go and chill out on and whatnot. Like, they still want the experience. They want to see the crowd. They want to see the vibe. They want to hear the music. They don't want to be in a closed vehicle. And you will see more and more instances of floats coming out on the roads. Not a huge size like we see in Rio and those places, New Orleans, but smaller, manageable floats. Just watch it.
Yeah. People come there for experience, and there's a plethora of carnivals now, so you must distinguish yourself as a carnival.
Yeah.
What are your surveys telling you? As to what attracts people? What's the magic of St. Lucia? What are your surveys from your exit surveys telling you from persons who come here by the thousands?
You know, it's something I've been thinking about so many times, Teddy. I go out to those promotions in different parts of the world, and I hear people talk about St. Lucia and the experience, and you must go, and travel advisors promoting St. Lucia. And I've tried to ask myself, I'm a Lucian, so I take a lot of things for granted. But in talking to them, what is that thing they believe? And I give you a semblance of what I have been able to make out. It's just how we treat people, how we welcome people, how hospitable we are, how we take care of people. We make people feel that they belong with us, that they are treasured. So those individuals come in and they know when they reach St. Lucia, they'll be taken care of.
So you say the carnival is big but still personal. It's still personable.
It's still very, very even in the commercialization, the bands give you so much personalized attention. Now they can start losing that if they start reaching 2000 and beyond. So they must make sure and thing. But and not just carnival, you know, jazz, all events in St. Lucia. People coming over for weekends, for conferences, tell you for weddings, they tell you just the way St. Lucians treat them and how hospitable we are, how welcoming we are. And that kind of value proposition we have of making people feel special is something which is really unique. I remember one celebrity was there last year. She came on the platform, speak to the Prime Minister and myself, and her point is she's never met a set of people as warm as us. The way we've made her feel like she belongs. This country is like her country. And it says something about us, and it spills over into our business and how we treat individuals. Of course, the experience is fantastic. The route we have, again, we take it for granted. But will tell me about when they cross the bridge and they're going down that waterfront, you know, there's something magical about it. Now, for you, Lucian, what's magical about it? But they tell you the mountains at the top, you know, the sea, the water, the yachts that are parked there. This is a very special feeling. No other country really offers that. And we take it for granted. And for them too, the challenge of going back up the road. We underestimate that. I remember in the beginning when Red Alone was doing Mega J to Mega J, we used to boast everywhere that was one of the distinctive things about us. We did Mega J to Mega J. And people tell you, when you see them complete that circuit, that challenge of going up the road there is something in itself. So, you know, I think as St. Lucians, we have been very good at curating experiences, and we need to continue to do so. Make sure we give people the best experience. We take care of them, you know, and that will keep us going.
The music is certainly very central and very important. The biggest tool for really exporting a carnival is the music. I tell people Barbados crop over. We didn't go here because tourism officials came to have a sterile press conference. That's not what... We went to Barbados, a country we used to laugh at before Carnival, when Crossfire, Edwin Harewood, Alison Hines, the big booths through Ras Eiley and Gabby, and so the music drew us to this destination. Jab Jab and the Grenada, powerful music draws you to Grenada and the rest. St. Lucia, we're not at a good place now in the exporting of our music. We haven't penetrated in the last few years as compared to before. We had Teddy St. John, Ricky T, the Denry segments were really in great demand. Where your ministry surely has observed that, where we are to that, what is being done along with the artists to tackle that.
Yeah, I think there are a number of elements, and Sunita spoke about it. You have to take care of every step along the value chain. And when she was saying we need to also give support to the writers and the arrangers. So we focus a lot on the artists, the persons who are presenting the songs. But the arrangers are also important too for carnival music. Because carnival music, arrangers are probably more important than writers, because you could have simple lines, catchy, but it's who puts the music together to move people. You know, maybe in Calypso it's maybe a little different. It's more the lyrics and how it is structured that engages the audience. With soca music, it's the rhythms and, you know, how you really get people moving. So we need to make sure we incentivize that, because, you know, if our people in that step of the value chain don't feel incentivized to put out their best, you can go through that cycle. So I think in terms of the artists presenting the music, we're just as good as we've been. You know, the Ezra, the Nudis, you know, the Ricky T and whatnot. But we have to put more into the arrangers and the writers. And
there's the marketing and distribution too.
Well, you see, the marketing will follow. Once you have the product, the marketing can follow. And we have a good product. We are doing marketing, but we need to, everybody is raising their game. It's like, say, Miami Carnival. When we started launch, St. Lucia is the only country having an international carnival at Miami Carnival. Everybody's there now. Yeah.
And don't estimate what I mentioned, Minister, the physical presence.
Yeah, no. That
must happen. From Grenada, that blessing song that's so huge now.
Yeah.
Had he been like our artist to just remain in Grenada, he found himself in Trinidad and Tobago. He was popular. He wasn't the most popular out of Grenada, you know. In Grenada, not Submarine. He wasn't the most popular, but he found himself in Trinidad and Tobago a month before Carnival, working the song. There's a time when we used to have about 13 of our artists in Trinidad and Tobago, just making connections. But you see, Nick Jordan became the personal friend of Nadia Batson and Mr. Vibe, and and Bunji Garlin.
So and what's your personality? What's his personality? You know, that's the other thing too. We have to talk about some of our artists. They having the mindset of success. You know, if you want to break into those markets and think, you need to look at the Teddyson, how he networks and he builds his alliances, whatnot. And we have to speak to our creatives that you have to have a certain mindset. You can't be very insular or even too reserved. You have to go out there and you have to engage. So yes, you have to be in the physical spaces, and we will put you in the physical spaces. But then you must take it to the next level. And you are right. You cannot deny you must be there. And we've done quite a lot in terms of supporting artists to go out there. But they need to build the support structures around themselves, that when they do go out there, they're able to connect and network and think. You have to do that. I mean, I've listened to some of the Trinidadian artists. Only recently I was listening to one of them speak about when they started going to the United States, what it was like. Bunjigal, you probably listened to it. And Bunjigal, I was like, wow. You never believe that. I mean, this is a superstar. And he tell you when he started to go up there, what it was really like. And our artists must think the same way, because he cleared in his mind what he had to do to make it work. Yeah. And we have to say the same to our artists, that.
Tell us 2 quick things before we end. We have artist Ezra. We can hear Ezra in the wings. Ezra getting ready to perform, as is MNR, Young Artist and Juiceman, to perform here on Vaval Central. So 2 quick ones before we run off here. One, the Mindofele Park people have been advocating for a shift because of the great success of jazz opening and also the Junior Carnival. Your take on the SAB versus going back to Mindofele Park?
I mean, the issue of Mindofele Park is that when we host jazz there, it's the dry season. Surface is hard, so you don't have a problem. We know from history what a July can be at Mindofele Park. The SAB is very easy to manage because it's sand-based. Water hardly stays on the surface. It can rain 2-3 days and you can still have an event there. If we go back to Mindofele Park and you have 2 days of rain, it's water boats, you have to go there for the events. So yes, people seen the success of jazz, but jazz is after 2-3 months of no rainfall, hard surface, no issues. We know what Mindofele Park can deliver if it rains. I mean, and we need to be guided by experience. So the SAB is still the favored place because it's such an easy venue to work with, and if there is rainfall, it is quite manageable.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard you, our season stands, I see, that's Ernest's favorite topic ever. I've heard about 40 times explain the music, the schedule, the calendar, having Calypso a week, and traditional events a week earlier, and having the climatic week and weekend for the private events. And maybe for the last time on Vaval Central ever, we're going to pack that the last time ever. Listen, we're discussing that. To explain to people who may not have been at the last forum, so it happens. People have pushed back, the traditionalists pushing back and saying that they don't like the idea of Calypso being a week before the climax of Calypso. They want it on the final weekend. Just speak to that. Ezra is urging us that he's out there and wants to perform. So just wrap it up.
No, it's a very simple reasoning when you looked at the attendance at the Calypso finals, especially when you know what it was like many years ago when there were no private fetes, really. Right. I think probably only
no competing events.
No competing events. Probably only Cozy used to have something, whatnot. You look at the numbers, the declining numbers, yet we have a good product. And then you begin to realize that
Calypso
finals, King and Queen of the Bands, Panorama. Remember, Panorama used to be a Friday, and massive, crowd following Panorama. Although then you would go
before going to Sexy in Black,
whatnot. And then you start wondering, but wait, how can we do this differently? But more importantly was that we had a generation coming up in St. Lucia that just never went to the national events anymore, just did not know it. And we thought, no, let us structure it in a way which will allow St. Lucians to go to both, to go to the competing private events, which are very well curated in terms of experience, and also have the national events. And if you can promote and market the national events sufficiently, you can get them taking 2 weeks of intense carnival activity. And like I said, there are young people I know, 2021, who only a couple years last year, so they went to their first Calypso finals. And had it been as previous, they would never have gone to the Calypso finals. So it has now offered us an opportunity where we can market and promote and really sexy up the events so that the 20-year-olds, the 21-year-olds can go to a Calypso finals. As I seen a young lady, so what events you going to? And she told me all the private feds. And she said she'll go Soca Monarch finals this year, but she's thinking about Calypso finals. And I'm like, no, you have to go to Calypso finals. But now she can go because the opportunity is there. So I think it's really trying to get at. We understand what the traditionalists are saying, but we need to make sure the art form survives.
Yeah. Final word to the public minister on Carnival as we get ready for Carnival 2025.
Well, I think things are about to take off from this weekend. The key thing for everybody is responsible enjoyment. That Carnival, and I keep saying it every time I get an opportunity, that Carnival should not be seen as a time when people must drink the most, misbehave the most. We still have to be responsible in our conduct, our behavior. The CPMC will encourage individuals to drink more water, drink less sugary drinks, use the water stops. Carnival is not an excuse to misbehave, whether in terms of violence, whether in terms of irresponsible behavior. It's not about that. And let us also understand it's a time to celebrate life, celebrate who we are as a people. And I want to encourage all St. Lucians to come out, support the activities. The police and the other emergency services will be out there. All stakeholders are ready. We've gone through all the different elements, and we're prepared to deliver the best Vaval ever. Each individual must play his part. Enjoy yourself, have fun, but be responsible in what you do.
Thanks. We just heard from Ernest Hilaire. He is the Minister responsible for culture, tourism, investment, and a lot more. A big portfolio, but culture is in fact the focus today on Carnival. Thanks, Minister. We'll have him again, Maureen, before the Vaval done. People are responding.
But I have
well
to say to Iowa, shout out Iowa and tell him.
Rankin boy, the minister shouted.
Yeah, no, always. Yeah. And to get well, bro.
Yeah, we wish him the best and we miss him there. Maureen holding the fort, but Iowa, you always in our hearts. But the public outpouring yesterday, the phone went crazy the whole day. Yeah. Everybody genuinely concerned about Iowa. Getting goosebumps at this.
Maureen have to go to bed earlier these days.
Yeah. Minister, thank you.
Yes, bro. Respect.
Maureen said the breakfast is copious outside.
It's copious outside,
to get the vibe going. We're running two groovies as they build up to the semi-finals, and we're going outside, Maureen. Yeah?
Absolutely.
All I want is for me to be beside you. Hey, hey. When you're jumping down, all I want is for me to be beside you. Hey, hey. And when you're jumping down, I say, give me the thing where your mama gave to you. Give me the thing now, baby. Give me the thing where your mama gave to you. Ooh, baby. Give me the thing where your mama gave to you. Give me the thing now, baby. Give me the thing where your mama gave to you. In a corner, I'm watching your bumper going left, right. You got an aura, I'm every island going left, right. Round the kid, left, how you been? Right, left. There's always two sides to this story. Tell me if it's right. Have your food, but mine you want to use polite. Who that be calling you in the middle of the night? Before I say something you think is fight, I want to fight. You feel like I'm a fool, cause I taking it cool. You feel like I'm a joke, take care you and get a stroke when you go to court.
Beats, baby.
So if I cheat, I ain't doing it for fame. Two away, could play the game. So if I cheat, I can't want to spread my name. I want it you. Brown skin, how you been? Ready day? Don't worry, there's always two sides to the story. It's right, have your food, but mine you want to use polite. Who that be calling you in the middle of the night? Before I say something you think is fight, I want to fight. You feel like I'm a fool, cause I taking it cool. You feel like I'm a joke.
Just please protect me from what I can see. Them are the devil in disguise.
That's music there from T Blacks. Of course, we're getting set for the live performance in a minute. Picking up all those of you on the live on Facebook or the YouTube live.
Cause you can't wear my crown, no.
Carmen de Terville, Irvin Springer, good morning to you. Aaron Tobia, DJ Panras, what you saying? Andrea Leo, big up yourself as well. Leah Yard, and all the likes.
Yes, Maureen Alexander. Boy, I still Maureen in the Vaval Central chair, boy.
I know you, man. We're good.
Maureen, versatile Maureen, eh?
We're good. We have that.
Why is it looking so still fresh in the morning? The same fresh way, boy.
Let me tell you, don't play
wake up
that.
early.
Bright and early.
You have people on my phone looking for that Expo the runway. They say, Maureen, boy, look a girl of outfits. That's what they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As you say, Maureen just running a couple of groovies. Reminding the semis are on. We're going outside in a while for performances from our artists. MNR, Juiceman and Ezra. The semis are on Friday. That is tomorrow already, Maureen? Boy, tomorrow.
The Friday, yeah.
It's tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Friday is tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when you're having fun. The semis at 5:30 and over a cultural center, and then we're going to the semis on Sunday. Between that, we have the Expo the runway. Ancillary, big boy. Ancillary have the Launcher Carnival, the sashing. Friday night in Ancillary have the sashing of the Ancillary Queens. They also have the launch of the carnival in the fish fry.
Wow. The
CTA, Community Tourism, working them on that. So they're really looking forward to it in a big way.
That's
so
beautiful.
Just
today is also Avi Clash.
Avi Clash today and RC Jam tomorrow.
RC Jam is tomorrow, yeah.
Right, the school's doing it.
They're doing
all on Vaval Central. As you say, in the next few minutes, we're going outside for Juiceman, Calypso. We have MNR and also Ezra out in the big stage, the big yard as we start today. Maureen, we're running some more groovy from this year and then going outside. Stay tuned, we're going outside in a bit.
Wonderful.
The best
Africa, no example for the youth of this country. A choir boy like Bradley, standing the same hymns like you. He even walked out, though we know he walked out on you. If you want to lead this country, your repentance is a must. You must right all the wrongs you've done to us. If you want to right the wrong, here's more pen and paper. If you want to right the wrong with your selective leisure, if you want to right the wrong, I will help you remember. If you want to right the wrong, let we start the first chapter. Land for Teoakim, no more horse riding again. The COVID-19 vaccine, the balance still outstanding. Broke the back of national trust. Erasing history is a must. If you love this country, even Father Michael will tell you this. Confession is good for the soul. Right all the wrongs on the list. Yes, I. Yes, sir. We working it. Listen this. He came into office, Prime Minister Pierre, to clean out the mess. Just that there, focusing on his work, just because he cares. Now Lucians are real happy with the state affairs. He gave civil servants 40 million to the public servants. He is the payment to the teachers for their school supplies. 500 for pensioners. Now they satisfied. They on the government working. With that, my government working as civil servants. My government working. They got what they want. Even my waist working. Oh boy, my government working. You have it. Listen, new inventions they made, new minimum wage, sports facilities, repair all of these. New commissioner, yes they put out there. Now the police cannot say government don't care. Youth economy, spearheaded by he took us by storm, carry comes it sea. Oh God, we rejoice. It's people, and Russians are real happy. That's the man to keep my government working. They on the right track. My government working, just can't deal with that. My government working as civil servants. My government working, they got what they want. Yes, man. Yes, my government working. My government working. I believe I'm. They got yes, man. Oh, yes. My government working. God willing, for sure. Thank you, Daddy. Okay. I believe I'm ready. Well, if I'm not ready, I'll never be ready.
You know, for a good voice, everybody out to do your thing. Good season so far.
Yeah.
God willing, yes, for sure. Thank you, Daddy.
Okay.
It was last year. Yeah.
Okay. So you had to go further this time. Going much further.
Yes, by the grace of God.
And now, good collab with Keisha. Now she's on her own.
Yeah.
Let's go now.
It was last year.
Little boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No sweeter. No sweeter. Yeah. Oh, when you're in hit this speaker, when the liquor hit, believe on. Oh Lord, gotta get much sweeter. Tell me, oh Lord, gotta get it sweeter. What's it up? gotta get much sweeter. Somebody tell me, hold on, gotta get sweeter. When the soca in the night, soca in the rain, or in the sunlight. We got much to play, ain't got no time for no. We just want to jump and soak all night, all night, all night, all right. When the rhythm hit the speaker, when the liquor hit my liver, gotta get much sweeter. Hold on, gotta get sweeter. No sweeter, yeah. No sweeter, yeah. No sweeter, yeah. No sweeter, yeah. Ooh, soca in the day, soca in the night, soca in the rain, or in the sunlight. We got much to play, ain't got no time to fight. We just want to jump and soca all night, all night, all night, all right. When the rhythm hit the speaker, when the liquor hit my lips, hold on, gotta get much sweeter. Tell me, hold on, gotta get sweeter. Let's go, yeah, 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 yeah. Hold on, gotta get much sweeter. Tell me, hold on, gotta get sweeter. I'm confident, but you know, it's the judges, you know.
What have you felt better? You're doing better now. MNR.
I think I'm definitely improving on my sound.
I'm
like
confident,
especially with the
but,
whole soca
you
scene.
know,
So I think that has improved.
the judges, you know.
Well, this song was not written by me, but all my previous songs I wrote them. But this one was written by Shana Hines from Barbados. Yeah. So I think that has improved.
Big artists. And you're thanking Keisha for
Well, this
starting off.
song
Keisha
was
pushing
not
the-
written
Of
by me,
course.
but all my previous
Shout out to
songs I
Keisha
wrote
always,
but this
number
one
one.
was written from
Good luck,
by
MNR.
Thank
Lots of
you.
support from the
From
fans.
Barbados.
Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to you. And you
Yeah.
blessing the stage, telling me you're sharing the stage, and you're the big names now.
Yes, I am. So tomorrow, performing at number one for the Groovies.
Good luck, MNR.
Yeah, number one. So you guys have to come out early, come out to support me, and yeah, I'd really appreciate that.
Thank you, MNR.
Yes, I
Vaval
am.
Central,
So
we're
tomorrow,
outside, now we're going-
performing at number
tomorrow will be a
one
big
for the
one.
Groovies.
Contestants
Yeah,
and all the
number
action.
one.
Good morning,
So you guys
we
have to
to
come
bring
out
the
early,
fantastic
come out to
video.
support me, and yeah,
In the
I'd
background
really
for now.
appreciate
Ezra,
that.
thank you. Fun machine. Ezra Augustine. Now we're going. Tomorrow will be a big Gozile from your mic. Yeah. Ezra.
Sorry.
Yes. Ezra in Thai and business.
Yeah.
Ezra, how the season going?
The season has been.
I thought I was stalled by.
My apologies. Amaran, we good? You all getting me there? All right, my apologies. Yeah, the season has been amazing. It's all about. I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, the season has been amazing. You know, the feedback for the music has been great. You know, big shout out to all the apologies that have. Amaran, we good? Shout out to the artists as well contributing to the vibes. My apologies. Yeah, the season has been amazing. It's all about everyone out there. I don't know.
You place every year.
Yeah, the season has been amazing. You know,
how you decided which power to go with?
Big shout out to all
like tie up a lot.
Yeah, the thing is, the season has been a really short one. There's a lot of so much focus on jazz, each and every one, and with the absence of open kind of other events, you know, persons who haven't really had the opportunity to really put their music out there. Yeah, which ones? So a lot of artists like myself will left with the decision to say, you know what, we have to choose between the two. Which absence of open kind of other events, chance, you know, persons who haven't really had the opportunity, I think that really has the music out there elements in terms of the energy.
I saw the response of Cicero.
Yeah, the response was really good. You know, big shout out to everyone who has responded to the music in a positive way. And even though it's a negative as well, as long as there is substance in it, you know, it goes towards the development and the betterment of the music. So,
the response of Cicero.
Yeah, the response was really good.
Your time,
you know,
Vaval Central, blessing you to be back 3 times.
Yeah, granted, you know, as long as there is substance in it, you know, it goes towards the development.
Big up, NIC.
For the benefit of us all.
The commercial to you. Ezra.
Yeah, but
Vaval Central,
one day
blessing you to be back 3 times.
And represent the staff.
Yeah, I can't wait. Ezra, I mean, what are you talking? The group you went to NIC.
For the benefit of
the commercial.
Yeah, but one day I'll
from last year, the groovy this year.
represent
Run the
the
track,
staff.
Ezra ready. Vaval Central. Ezra.
Jean-Basile, on the boucher, Mr. Wolf, what's the time? That's in time.
Samadula, she wanna go, she wanna go, wanna go, wanna go, she wanna go, wanna go. Hey, I do my own shit. Mr. Wolf, what's the time? That's it, come and take a dance. Samadula, she wanna go, she wanna go, wanna go, she wanna go, wanna go. Hey, come and take a dance, come and take a dance. Watch this right now. Take a move to the left, and take a move to the right. And we rub it down in the big belly to belly. Take a move to the left, yes, and take a move to the right. Then we rub it down in the big belly to belly. Then we rub it down in the big belly to belly. One dance is not enough. Yes, we should be a party sick and two. Then we rub it down in the big belly so belly to belly. I bet that. Listen, the feeling's a party, a party, a party. Just me and you. So it everywhere, everywhere. This is a party, a party, a party. My friend, just me and you. Everywhere, just me and you. Everywhere. Come on, get dance. A party, a party. Just me and you. Come and take a dance. Guys are ready. Look at them right now. Look at them ready. This way. We take a move to the left. Yes. And take a move to the right. Then we put a move. Yes. Put a move. To the left. Guys are ready. Look at them right now. Look at them ready. This way. We take a move to the left. Yes. And take a move to the right. Put a move. Yes. Put a move. Put a move. Take a move to the left. And take a move to the right. Then we rub it down in the middle, darling. Belly to belly. Look to me now. Something about the way you move. I'm in a trance. I want you roll it and you twist it and you bend it like that. I love how you dance. Over and over. The two are we together. Let me set this place on fire. This is a party, a party, a party for two. Just me and you. So give me the wine, give me the wine, give me the wine. This is a party, a party, a party for two. Just me and just me mine. Vaval and girl, and the penalty does say yes. That is it. Yo. Mic check. Can I get a mic check? Mic check. Good, we something good. Alright. Can I have your undivided attention? Time to start the session. It's moving my direction. Cause we don't party like people on a pension. Time for some action, heady instruction. So if you're not a coward, then take a step forward. We don't watch in your face, cause you know we on. Come closer. All the people are the back of the party right now. Come closer to Vaval Central. We don't want no tie up in the event. No. I love to see the people jumping and waving. We don't want no tie up in the event. No. I want to see you start to jump like that. Start to jump. Party people start to jump up in the air. Rocks up in the air. Rocks up in the air. Yeah. Up in the air. Jump up in the air. Like that. Up in the air. Let me tell you now. Just show me the hand them. Right now we causing a problem. Now we call this one the stage anthem. And we're getting on into the AM. And we don't have time for the stressing or anything on the pressing. It's all about the progressing. So step front for your blessing. So if you're not a coward, then take a step forward. We don't watch in no face. This is Vaval Central. Everybody come closer. Listen to RCI 101.1. You know why? Because we all want to tie up in the head. No. I love to see the people jumping and high. We don't want to tie up in the head. No. I want to see you misbehave. Vaval Central. We go take a jump up in the air. The racks up in the air. Your flags up in the air. Yeah. Up in the air. Jump up. I tell you, racks up. That is it. Hey, give me with me. Oh yeah. Just give me some. Oh yeah. See me. His problems in the place. And you see that? I'm not telling you that already. You have to hold on to something and press it. Guys, are you ready? You better move out of the way if you don't come here to see the gas. I come out here to get miserable. Why? I know what to do something like that. I feel it to just pick up something and put it over me head, put it over me head, put it over me head. I feel to pick up something and put it over. And when you put it over, I say put it over me.
Could I be a rag or a flag or even a piece of bush? Like we don't come here to play push. We full of energy. Put your hand up, let me see. Start to get on like that. I tell you I come out here, that is it. That is it. I come out here to get miserable. Let's put it over now. I feel it to put it over. Put it over. Put it over. I feel to pick up something and put it over. Over me head, put it over me head, put it over me head. Alright. And if you can't stand the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen. We come in hotter than 10,000 oven. We come in with the fire. The place in fire. Fire now, everybody put your hand them higher, higher. Because I come out here to get miserable. Why, I come out here to get miserable. I feel it to just pick up something and put it over. Put it over me head, put it over me head. I feel to pick up something and put it over me head, put it over Vaval Central. What's up? Yeah, man, yeah, all of it. Make this, but that's alright. Yeah, that's carnival for you.
Ezra, the fun machine.
Yeah, man.
Ezra, you have everybody bouncing and
that's the fun machine.
Also on UTV channel 124.
Yeah, man, big shout out to UTV, man.
Station.
Yeah, by all means. Channel 124.
Brandon, big up yourself.
On Flow.
And we just building up, you're just starting Ezra, boy. Ezra, you still need some fitness, boy.
Fitness?
You ready for them?
What
number you at on tomorrow?
I'm Groovy performing at number 14, Dance With Me, and 17 for Power Miserable.
Ooh, two good places. The Power. And Eliza will be in the front. She warming up for Tuka semis.
Yeah, that's just a warm up there.
We know she back in, right? We know.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's all right.
As long as she come out and support.
She gain love to all. Ezra, thank you on Vaval Central.
Yeah, man, thank you very much, Daddy.
Marine, thanks for filling in. Big up yourself. We're watching you. Recover well. Get back well, brother.
Godspeed, brother.
We have your back. Iowa ranking. And we continuing. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Lots of performers in here tomorrow on Vaval Central until Carnival. We outside in the big space. Liza in control, boy. Liza fans like crazy. And Liza, we invite a little audience next week, Liza. We come and meet Liza, Liza.
Yeah.
Thank you. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Vaval Central again. We back here. Thank you. And UTV 124, spread the word. It's live on TV also on Facebook Flow 124. It's on their Facebook. It's on Radio Caribbean. 101.1 on the radio. We back tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Vaval Central.
Thank you,